Hey guys, it's BW and we're back out in the garage. We're jumping back on this old 1970 Nova. You guys know the deal, it's pretty rotted out. We're just chipping away at it piece by piece. I just want to show you guys what we got done over here on the driver's side, and in this video we're going to jump over to the passenger side and start getting that rocker out and replace it with a new one. We don't know how far in we're going to go with it, but we're going to figure that out together as we go. Alright, so first of all, I know you guys that watch the shorts know that we got the rocker panel all the way in with the spot welds. I think I showed it to you guys in my last video. I just had it, I don't know if it was clamped and screwed, but we got it plug welded completely in, and we got things where they're supposed to be, and we finally got around to tackling this inside quarter patch panel that we were waiting to do, and I think that it came out pretty gosh darn nice. I mean, considering I just couldn't stomach paying $350 for this little tiny panel, so we made the piece on the bottom. You guys can see it's kind of weird the way it was. It was like, okay, you had a bend in and then a bend out, but this bend on the bottom was radiused, and the only piping I had here at the shop to work with was what was left over from the roll cage on the 55 Chevy over there. So I kind of hit it around on that, and it still wasn't quite right. So once I got it in the car and I tacked it in here and made sure it was pretty much where it went, I heated it up a little bit and then peened it over and then cooled it off, and it come out really good. I think it fits really good anyway. Now you can see that screw still in there, but that's not doing anything because we put 3 plug welds, one in the middle and one on each end. That's just for right now, because I think I have everything where it's supposed to be, but in the event I don't, we can certainly break 3 plug welds loose and get it where we want it. And the measurement I took, and I matched it to the passenger side, right or wrong. They were close before, but this side was detached since I had the car. The only thing that was attached was this quarter that I'll show you in a minute. They had it 3 tacks on the outside to the rocker. I mean, this was all rotted off. There was absolutely no sill here at all. It was completely gone. So I don't know where this was supposed to be honest with you. I have no idea. So I just took measurements. I measured from like this pillar right here. I said, okay, from the top of this hinge to this point and this to this point, and you know that they're just basic numbers that we went by, and we're within, I guess you would say, about 1/8 to 3/16, somewhere in there. But you know, this end hangs over a little bit more than the other end. These things were certainly never perfect at the factory, so you know, we went with it. I pried this back a little bit. I think you guys can see the initial line right here where this gold mark is. That's where it wanted to just sit relaxed. I moved it back this 1/4 inch just to get it close to the passenger side, to match the passenger side close with the measurement. And it seems like it's pretty good. You know, everything at the wheel tubs and everything is close too. Now we only have those screwed in, and we're just going to leave those screwed in to the braces and the trunk brace and everything else until we're ready to change the quarter panel, and just to make sure everything is right. Okay, so we think we're there, but we're not 100% in. So the door, I had to take the striker off the door because I think I broke the latch, or it being misaligned for so long, the latch just finally gave out. This door was stuck closed for like 3 days till I finally got in there and jimmied it loose and got it to unstick. All right, but what I was looking at for, I guess, alignment, because there's really, this quarter is so bad, but you can see here that I used these top lines right here, and then I made sure this gap was fairly even all the way along the top, because you can see as you go down with this door gap, it's nice right here, but then it goes way in, and it was actually underneath the door, and it was like that when we got the car. So this was a really bad quarter panel alignment, anyway, and I was telling you inside the car, the only thing that was holding the inside structure to anything was these. There's a tack. You can see where this old tacks are right here. They actually, there was nothing in there, so they welded to the outside of the rocker just those 3 tacks right there to hold it. So that's what we were up against, and I have no way of knowing if I was there or not as far as alignments and everything else like that. But we persevered, and I think we're where we want to be. Okay, so let's go over to the other side of the car and talk about what we want to do, and then let's do it together, I guess. At least get started. Here's the rocker for the passenger side. Now on the driver's side, because there was absolutely nothing here and the front was really bad except for up into the, I guess you say, the cow end or whatever it is. You know, I showed you guys in the other one, the rocker actually goes up into here. I replaced it all the way up in there. And it's really not as bad as you would think it is to get that out, but you know, we're gonna decide if we want to do that on this side. I mean, the first thing I think we're gonna need to do, and you see here, I sprayed some stuff in there last summer, but it doesn't look like the sill in there is bad. I can't tell yet, so I think the thing to do is I think we're gonna take the bottom of the quarter off so I can look in there and make sure and see if the metal's good or not. It's, I mean, obviously it's perfect up through here, but when you get down to the bottom of the rocker, it's a different story. I mean, it's just gone. There's nothing there. But if we can save some of it, we will. I mean, there's brackets and braces in there, so I have to decide, you know, where we're gonna start and stop. If I wanted to put a seam weld, I was watching Dan over there on his DD Speed Shop, and he said, oh, he put his underneath the sill, and truth be told, we could do that too. I mean, you guys can see that you even still have the factory, what is that, autumn gold or whatever they said that was there, and this is still really, it's really good metal. It's just down outside here where it started to get bad. All right, well, we're pretty much set up. But before, like I say, we're going to just take the top of this quarter panel off right here. I might have to do something. My wheel's too big to get in here, so I might have to do something at the 2x4. So we'll cut both sides and cut in as far as we can. You guys can see here, the door's set in a little too far here. It's like and plus there's like it looks like maybe the door's got a little bit of a in right here. So later on we'll have to work on addressing that, but that's a good thing to remember in your mind, like when we start replacing the rocker or the piece of the rocker we're going to replace. This is obviously not we're going to have to fix that another way, whether we bring the bottom of the door out some, and we got to account for this little wow in there. It's just another challenge to this thing to try to figure out. All right. Got this little piece right here. There's some leaves and some, oh, look at this, we got some money. Look at that. Thing keeps paying us. Another quarter dropped out. What's this from? Shoot, I can't see that. We might have to zoom in. 1984? 1984 quarter. It looks like a dime. The dime is just unreadable. But anyway. Okay, so this is starting to make sense now. This is the old quarter panel lip, and it is welded to the rocker right here. It's still there. This was a replacement panel, and they just had it laying on top in there. and over in here they had a bunch of mud. So I'm gonna clean this up some more. We're gonna get this piece off, and then we'll be able to see how good. The only part of the rocker that's a little bit pitty is right here, back here. So far so good up through here with the rocker in this area. Hey guys, I gotta stop for a second. That tiny bit of grinding, I got dust all over my 55. So I'm just gonna vacuum it off real quick, put a plastic over top of it. I should have already done that, but you know, I'm just gonna get some of that plastic I got over there. So just give me a few minutes and then we'll jump back into the new. All right guys, I feel a lot better about that, having that plastic on there. I vacuumed the car off. It's obviously not perfect, but it's better than it was, and having the plastic on there makes it so we don't have to worry about that no more. So next thing I want to do is I need to get this door off of the Nova, and then we'll decide how we're going to dissect this rocker. All right guys, well, we got the door off, and I'm just trying to decide where I want to cut this thing. I mean, from here forward, the whole thing is just toast. But it's like, you know, so you can just sit there like an ice pick and just take it. You see how it just comes right off there. There's not much there. But over here, from here over, it's good metal. I mean, it's real good. So I don't know if I should just do the front. I mean, I bought the whole rocker, but you know, it's really good shape. I mean, you can see this is the last of the old quarter that was on here. You can see, so I'll have to take this lip off and just clean everything and maybe treat it. All right guys, I rough cut this, pretty rough. Skipping all over the place. A spark jumped in my ear. I gotta find my ear muffs. You guys can see, take a look at that. It's pretty dirty in here. There's a lot of crud. And this is just raw right as soon as I got it cut out. So let me vacuum this up, and then you can see how good the metal is though after I got this rotted piece off of here. So we'll take a look at this and decide what we're gonna do. All right guys, well, I cut the bad section of rocker out, and you guys can see it's really rote. Man, the rest of this rocker is like new, so we're gonna try to save it. But check this out guys, I'm inside, looking inside of here. Look at the size of that nest that a mouse or something had left back in there. I tried to get it with the vacuum cleaner, and it instantly clogged up when I stuffed it in there, so I'm gonna poke at it and break it up with a stick and then vacuum it up. Okay guys, I've been poking around with this, and I'm really still on the fence. I thought I was gonna save a whole bunch and just put a piece in, but it's like, you can see the edge of this metal right here? See, look how thin it is right there. And if you look inside there, everywhere there's that pitting, that's how thin it is. And that's all through there. The outside of the metal, I took it to the bare metal, it looks okay, but it's super, super thin in those places. And then you come up here, right where the quarter panel rotted off, where it connects to the rocker, it's pitted super deep right here, okay? And then I took and I got rid of that little strip where the leftover quarter panel was. I took those spot welds off. It looks pretty solid. And then you get right here. It's really rotted out right here. And then, let me just bring and turn the light on back here. I come back here and I just started poking around back here. Okay, get in place here. You can see I took the wheel tub was just rotted, and it had this big gumball of crap right here. I didn't describe how it was in there, but something like that. We got rid of that. Let me see if I can show you inside here what it looks like right there. Let me see if I can get that for you. I don't know if I can. I'll try to get it to shine a light in there. The whole structure brace in there is completely rotted off. Can you? I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm trying to. Let me see if I can. There you go. That's a little better. You can see it's all rotted off right there, and the bottom is super thin. I hate the, I hate to disturb because there's so much good metal left on this rocker, but if I fix right here and fix right there, now I'm all Frankensteined in, and it's gonna, how well are the pieces gonna match up? So right now I'm leaning towards just pulling this the rest of the way out, because it really doesn't take long to get this out. I know it seemed like it does, but it really doesn't. And I'm probably, come up here to the front, I'm gonna leave the front in this time. Like I took it out on the other side, and the brace goes up in here. You got to take the vent box out to get to the welds inside. This is all super good metal. The brace is really good. Everything's really good. So I'll leave that and we'll just cut it in here. But I mean, we're looking at saving like where it's at the pinch weld here, and a little bit of metal right in here. Everywhere else there's like blotches. Like it's super thin. I might. I mean, I'm on a fence, but it's like I'm at the point now where let's just put it in and be done with it, and not worry about having rot through in 2 years after we're done. So I hate disturbing stuff that's really good, but there's too many bad parts on this. In my opinion, I don't know. There's probably a bunch of you guys that know a lot more than me, but it's like I feel like if I got to put a seam here, that's body work here, and then I have to cut the back out right here, and that brace actually goes in and is underneath where that kicks in right there. So it's like, what am I really saving here? So let me pull this off real quick. Right, well, we got the top ones out. I did this side different than that side. I drilled through this time. I like it better because the holes are bigger, so I'll be able to make a bigger plug weld. I might actually put a couple on that side after I'm done. But anyway, that's either here or there. You can see the top's loose. So the only thing I got to do to get this rocker out now is get the bottom ones. The problem is trying to get the bottom ones. I do want to drill those with the spot weld drill, one of these guys, but I can't reach them because of the angle of the rocker. It's like it's just the drill's not long enough. So I'm just gonna get the plasma cutter out real quick, and I'm gonna notch the rest of this out real quick, and then we'll drill the lip and take them out one at a time, and just get them off of there real quick. And then after we get that done, I think I'm gonna brush some of that rust converter on certain areas, like in there and there and there. All right, guys, well, we got the rest of the rocker off the bottom. You can see we didn't go through the inner rocker, so that's good. But now we're gonna have to sand at this and clean up all the loose rust, and we're gonna have to put like a converter on there, and we have to let the converter sit overnight. And after the converter sits overnight, then we got to hit the whole thing. We'll give it a nice coat of the weld through primer just to protect everything. You guys can see the structure for this is in great shape, the brace and everything. We've decided we're gonna just leave this piece of rocker, old rocker that's up inside the cow. We're gonna leave that, obviously, and we're just gonna cut the front of the new one off and along here, and just kind of puzzle piece it in and weld that up solid. I think that's gonna come out really good. It'll be nice and strong. You guys can see how good the metal is here. We're just gonna, take the loose rust off and hit it with the converters and stuff, and we'll be in good shape. Then you come back here to the back. It was a shame that, I mean, the inner, I'll show you guys on the rocker in a minute outside. I took the old rocker outside. It's a shame because it was pretty decent, like right in here, but there were spots, and then back here the bottom was paper thin. I'll show you. And it was missing the structure. The whole structure was gone for it. So I think we're better off just doing what we're doing and changing it all out. All right, so one thing is this is the old wheel tub right here, the original to the car. So this is a good point. We know where the rocker's supposed to end up. So I just kind of ground that piece off of there. There's still a little bit left. I'll grind that a little bit better and we'll get that cleaned up. But you guys can see, you know, we're pretty solid back through here. A little bit of converter will go a long way back here. It'll take care of everything. We got one little spot on this inner quarter right here where it's paper thin, like right here where the tub comes in and meets it. So I'm gonna notch that off just for right now because it's easy to get to. I'm not gonna fix it until we do the tubs, and that'll be in the next video. We'll do the passenger side inner and outer tubs, and then we'll make that repair. But I'm gonna weld this inner back down to the rocker, and I don't want to have to worry about cutting into the new rocker. So I'm gonna cut the bad piece off now, and we'll just piece a new piece in whenever we do the other job. So I think that's my plan for that. But yeah, I'm really happy. It didn't take as much as you would think to get this rocker off. There's some drilling involved. Like you said, I went ahead and I drilled them. I did it opposite of the other side. I just drilled them with my what do they call it, unibit, and they go right through that. You know, I did that a lot on the 55 when I took the firewall out, and I forgot how well that worked. And I was watching, I think it was Bondo Billy or one of them guys, and he was taking his spot welds off. I'm like, yeah, I did that with the before. Forgot about that. So, you know, hey, you live and you learn, then you forget and you learn again. So that worked out good. Let me go over here and take a look at the rocker, and then you guys will see what I was talking about. Come over here and show you that this is the new one. So the rocker was for the old one was completely missing that piece right there. It was like rotted completely out in the middle. There was zero structure left to it. And then this brace was completely gone. That was the rust laying in the bottom that we vacuumed out. That brace was not even there. So the structure was gone on it. So even though the outside portion of it was in good shape, and I hear you guys when you say save as much as you can, that wasn't worth saving. It was I don't even know if this Nova was worth saving, but we're gonna save it anyway. So let's go out and take a look at the old rocker. I think it's pretty nice out now. The sun came out. All right, so I just took it over here and I threw it in the pile on the side of the house here. I think that's where I laid it down. Come over here and take a look. Yeah, there it is. You can see this was the end where that bracket was. We just looked at that goes from the other side. You can see it's completely gone. There's nothing even there. It's gone on this side, what was left. It's paper thin right down through here, and the other brace is completely missing. It's not even there. You can see that the metal was really good right here. I'll admit it. Right here was really good. But right here, it's paper thin. I mean, really thin. So it is what it is. We made the decision. It's done now. We're gonna put the new rocker on, and I think we're gonna be structurally sound. All right, let me get this converter. Let me get the, let me get the loose rust cleaned up and then the converter brushed on. Okay guys, well, I wire brushed and grinded at and got the loose rust off the best I could. It was a little tough up in there behind that bracket, but we got it pretty good. And I brushed it on. There's really no rust, other than like, you can see where those little spots are. That's the spot welds where the original flooring was welded in. So, you know, it's where the galvanizing burned off, but you can see it's starting to convert now. Whenever it's done, it'll turn black, and it's kind of cold, so it's probably going to take an extra day, so I'll let this sit a day or two, and then I'll hit it with some weld through primer that has etching properties and everything else, so that'll even further protect it. All right, you can see I even hit the converter up on our inside quarter there to clean that up. You can see I sliced that bad piece off there. I got it curled up inside. It's out of the way, so I'll be able to weld this down to the new rocker panel, and I'll make that patch later when we do the wheel tub job. Not a big deal. All right, but you can see anywhere there was rust, it'll convert black. And I'll bring you guys in and I'll just show you the end result after I get a couple coats of weld through primer. It's just cold, guys, so I got to let this stuff cure a little extra, give it a little extra time to cure. All right, guys, well, we let this converter sit on here for like 2 days because it's so cold, and you can see anywhere where it's turned black, that's where there was rust. The other stuff is just remnant because there's no rust there. And I just brushing it off with the brush, and I'm just going to hit it and give it a nice coat or two of weld through primer. I got the heat on here just to kind of heat the metal up. It's only, I don't know, it's like 42 degrees, so I got to let this stuff set up and harden up for like 2 days once we get it on there. Let me get this painted out. All right, guys, well, I got a nice light coat on there. I got the heater running, so I'll let it set up for like an hour, and then I'll come back out, put one more light coat on, and I'll leave the heat on for another hour or two, then I'll shut it off. And then I'm just gonna have to let this sit for, I don't know, a day and a half to let it harden up, and then we'll fit this rocker and get this job knocked out. Okay, guys, well, it's a little bit better than a day later. Our primer has hardened up really nice. So we're going to try to get this rocker fitted and in. I'm getting a couple conflicting numbers, and I'll show them to you real quick. You can see where we have to make our notch cut along here. So if I took a measurement from here to the end of the metal, it's around 6 1/4. So from this line right here where we'd want to cut to this line right here is about 6 1/4. The original number I took for this was from the end of the rocker when the old rocker was still installed. You can see how it overhangs past the lip a little bit on the wheel well. And from that point to the 6 1/4 mark, our number was 57 3/8. And we're getting a perfect match. Now the conflicting number I'm getting right now is because I left the old original wheel tub in right there. So I took a measurement from here to here, and I'm getting 56 3/4 right in that range, and that's the solid line right here. So I'm going to notch it, and we're going to cut it to this 56 number just for right now, because it would be better to have a little bit too much material than not enough material. So I can always cut it a second time, is basically what I'm saying. So let's get this thing notched out, and then I'll bring you guys back in and we'll take a look at what we got. Wish me luck. All right, guys, well, we're starting to get a fitment going on this rocker. It's not too bad. You guys can see I cut the puzzle piece out, and it come out pretty good. I ended up cutting it a second time. I cut that to where it was longer, and I ended up cutting it to our 57 3/8 measurement from early on, from the end of this rocker here to here. You'll see a third line I drew. I actually was tracing, and thank goodness we didn't cut that there. We would have been a 1/4 inch short, but we ended up, you know, hey, we were safe. We cut it longer first, and then we tried the second line, and the second line is pretty gosh darn good. I got a small opening right there. Okay, that's good. It's not perfect right here from here to here, but I got everything cinched up tight, and I mean, that's about as close as I can get it. I want to show you guys something real quick. It's like, okay, so the inner quarter doesn't fit perfect to this rocker, but the rocker is tight up against, right? It's not perfect right here yet, but I don't want to put a bunch of screw holes in, so I'm kind of leaving that for now. But it looks like I'm going to have to actually bring this to it a little, just a little bit, and it is what it is. I mean, and it looks like the holes that we drilled out, the spot weld holes, are higher. So, I mean, we're gonna have to fix them up a little bit and make it fit to this rocker. I mean, that's all we can do. it is what it is. We're working it. You can see down here, it's like, okay, if you look along here, we got a pretty good line right here. This rocker does a little dive right here. I don't know if it was damaged in shipping or what. It's pretty good. It just looks a little wonky right there, but it's not terrible right there. That's a pretty good lineup. And you can see on the back where this is the original wheel tub. You can actually still see the color of the car right there, and you see where it's bent right there. That's where we pried and got the old rocker off of there. So we're right there. I mean, that's where the old rocker sat. It's just, like I say, a couple things aren't working out too good yet, but good-ish, if that's a word. We'll get that fitting pretty decent in a day or two, I think, because it's getting late. I'm probably going to go in. But if you look down here, I got a couple indicators over here too that are telling me something. So I'm thinking what I'm going to need to do is put like 3 tacks here, and then I'll have to get the jack or another jack stand and wedge it right here, because this lip right here is down too far, but all our points are lining up. Like this point, and this point are pretty gosh darn close to lining up. So what's going to have to happen is, like, once we get this tacked in a couple places, we'll try to wedge this or jack it up a little bit just to squeeze this up to the pinch weld where we want it to be. And another thing too is I got these 3 holes drilled, and you can see it has to go up about 1/4 inch to 3/8 to get to the bracket, because we weld 3 spot welds to the bottom of that brace bracket that's in there. And you can see I can lift it up a little bit, like doing it like this right now, but then that makes it a little too high up top. But I think if I put like 3 tacks and just work it a little bit, maybe we'll just get this right here to just bend up a little bit more until we're on that bracket. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Okay guys, well, we tacked the front in, put 3 tacks there, a couple tacks up there, and we tacked along side a little bit. So that's as close as that's ever going to be. I mean, it's a replacement part, but I feel like we're really, really good. I mean, we're close. It's the one thing I'm noticing, and I've been tinkering around, and there's not a lot I could do about it. It's kind of like, by the time you get down here, it's hanging down almost 1/4 inch right there. But I mean, we're able to catch a full weld onto the pinch point. And we're all the way up. I have 3 plug welds right here that are on the brace. So it won't go any higher right here. So it is what it is. But it kind of, as it goes up, you know, it starts here where it's actually about a, what would you guys call that, a 1/16 above the inner rocker right there, and it just kind of grows as it goes. But it's where it wants to be. I mean, all the little indicators that I've been using are there. It's like it really can't be anywhere else. I mean, this right here, obviously that's bent down a little bit, but the part that's not bent right here, it fits good. Right here where you can see where the old rocker was there, that's another indicator. Hindsight 2020, I wish I hadn't have cut this out, but I needed to at the beginning of the video, if you remember, to check everything out. So, but I got the pieces here and I lined them up. It's basically where it's supposed to be, you know. You gotta rob Peter to pay Paul sometimes, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I come in here and I don't want to put a bunch of self-tappers. I got 3. 1, 2, and 3. And I kind of like, there's a plug weld hole there. I kind of just grabbed the shoulder because I just don't want a bunch of extra holes in my new piece. But it is what it is. And it's like everything kind of lines up. It looks like the lip's a little high the whole way down right here. It's the exact same thing on that one over there. You know, it's just, it is what it is, I guess. I feel like it's going to line up good though. So I think what I want to do before I weld it in solid, I'm going to put the door on, see how that all lines up. And if you remember the gap down at the bottom, there is a indentation in the door, so I don't know how much it's going to help us, but I think I want to see for spacing. I'm not so much worried about that. I just want to see how high the door is compared to where the rocker is. I feel like we're right there. All right, guys, well, we bolted the door on, and it's basically where it was. I kind of marked it, but this door is not original to the car. You can see how the hinges are bolted onto the pillar. They're welded onto the door, okay? And on the driver's side, we're bolted on both sides. Now, I know sometimes these things came bolted and sometimes they came welded, but I don't think they hodgepodged half and half from the factory. So this door doesn't fit great. It fits okay. If you go back and look at the beginning or towards the beginning of the video when we were looking at this before we cut the rocker out, it didn't fit that great to begin with. And we're still at that point where it does not fit that great. All right, so you can see somebody was in here fooling around. The pins are in upside down. I don't even know if they changed the bushings when they put this door on, because it's a little wobbly. But like I said, when they come from the factory, the pins are down, not up like that. So, you know, I just think that they used half a hinge from a welded door and half the hinge from the factory one, and took the pin out and put the pin back in. So that's another thing we got to contend with. It's like there's so much guesswork on this Nova, and this is just another part of it. But you can see our gap ain't terrible. It looks like the door is a hair, maybe a hair low right here. But remember, this quarter is sitting on top of another quarter, so who knows? I don't even know where they put it on top at yet. I think that maybe somewhere around in here. I'm not sure. But we'll take a look. It's like if you take a look down through here, the door closes. All right, now we come down and look at the fit up on the rocker. Show you right here. Our wow is still there, but it gets really tight at the front, and it opens up gradually a little bit here at the back. Not much. It's like it goes from an eighth to, I guess, about a quarter, maybe a little bit more. So, I mean, I don't think there's any more room to push this quarter up, but in case there is, we're not going to weld back here yet. We're going to just clamp and screw everything together back through here, so that when we put the quarter on, if we have to move something up or down a little bit, we'll be able to do that. Now, I think it's right where it's supposed to be. I just think it's the way this door is sitting on the car, and like I said, it's caved in a little bit right here, but that cave in right there don't have nothing to do with how tight that is there. And it's tight at the top. I'll show you when we get back up. When I was sitting there the other day, I remember tacking this in the front, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, Brian, you didn't drill out for your plug holes. But we come up with a solution for that. I put a little, we still got a ways, we still got about half of it to go back there, but it's not a big deal. I just put a little divot like I always do, and I use this hole drill right here, and I got a nice long extension, and it's real easy to do. It's just it's another step because I got ahead of myself there. I got excited to put the rocker on, but anyway, it's on, it's in. And if you look up here, see, it's like it's really tight right there, right? But I don't think that this door fits great either, because like I said, it's not bad. It's a little tight right here, but then it opens up right here. So it's kind of weird. I just think that I don't think it's definitely not the original door, and I just don't think it's fitting quite right with it being welded on one side and bolted on the other. All right, and you guys remember inside, I got the rocker just screwed like I showed you a little bit ago. I got the rocker just screwed to the inner quarter, and it's nice and rigid, and it's not going anywhere. And that leads me to believe that we're right where we need to be too, because the inner quarter is right back where it's supposed to be. All right, So I think we're gonna leave this video at that. We got the rocker panel in on the passenger side, and I'm pretty happy with that, and that's what we're gonna go with. This weekend I'm gonna work on doing these inner wheel tubs right here. We're gonna get the old ones out and maybe start putting the new ones in. I'll just start making a new video, and I'm certainly gonna update you guys along the way with some shorts and another long form video. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I'm enjoying making it. I tried to, this video is a little longer than usual, but I wanted to bring you guys along for the whole process of putting in the rocker. I hope it was helpful to anybody that needs any information. I'm very green at this, but we're getting it, and we're not gonna rest until this car is rust free and the gaps are fairly decent. We're just gonna have to play with it a little bit. All right. So until next time, take care, everybody.